Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. On behalf of Weigel's Fuel and Food that's fast, fresh, and friendly, here's your quick weather and Weigel's update. If you haven't checked out the brownie batter milk, it's around for just a limited time. Oh yes, you know the weather, you might have heard, is going to be nice. Well, speaking of nice, the brownie batter milk is beyond nice. It's delicious, it's rich and creamy, and it's not just, in my words, chocolatey or double chocolatey. I'd say it's triple chocolatey. If you remember the days when you were maybe watching mom make brownies in the kitchen and your finger just happened to wander into the bowl, and you'd lick your fingers because it was so good, that's the kind of brownie batter milk we're talking about. Oh, by the way, Weigel's, just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24, and it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. But you got to check out the all-new brownie batter milk. Very impressed with this product. So many of the cool creations that Weigel's comes up with, very creative, but you want to also make sure that you pick up a bottle today. Maybe pick up 2 bottles, because you know what? They don't last that long. They tend to move along in short order time, and it makes room for something new. But the all-new brownie batter milk from Weigel's. By the way, if you haven't checked out the visibility, it hasn't been perfect in all places. I'm looking at some white patches in Hancock County, Hawkins County. Visibility pretty poor. Jonesville is reporting under a mile, probably less than a half mile. In many cases, about a mile in Jacksboro. So there's going to be some patches of fog, perhaps where it rained hard in the last 24 to 36 hours. So be mindful of that. A little bit of fog to greet you here on a Tuesday morning. But boy, the temperatures are the story, my friend. It is 64 degrees in Knoxville, but it's a comfortable 64. You have 57 in Oneida, 63 in Oak Ridge, and if I'm not mistaken, Morristown may not be reporting, but we can interpolate they're around 60. 60 in Morristown and Hamilton County. A shout out to you, while our friends in Athens at 63, and Crossville, way to represent the upper 50s. 59 degrees for you, 58 for Wartburg, and it's, boy, really comfortable, really nice this morning. Would love to know what you have as far as an observation. We'll share that with the comments section here. But the reason I know it's comfortable is because the dew point's all the way down into the mid-50s. Places like Wartburg, got a dew point now of 54 in Jonesville. It is comfortable all across the board. Even in our friends in Morristown that aren't reporting, we can interpolate that they're pretty close to 58 for a dew point. So it's pretty nice, and that's going to be the theme today. I like to refer to days like today as a slice of nice. You might even refer it to as a Goldilocks forecast, because it's not too hot, it's not too cool, it's just right. For some of you, you probably need a couple of summer days like what we get today and tomorrow, where it is absolutely just right. There it is, the forecast. 81 today. Some of you will be in the upper 70s. I won't discount that. Some of you may have a hard time, Oneida, getting out of the mid-70s. Oh, man, that's pretty cool. It's like I might need a jacket. Well, maybe not. Tonight you might. Tonight's a different story. But at least today, I'd say it's pretty nice. It's the perfect weather that some might have ordered. You might have, it's just what the doctor ordered, some of you might think. By the way, I want to say good morning to Steve Stone. He's on YouTube. He's here to say good morning. He's got his sunshine and happy face. Glad to have Steve here. Fred's on here. He's got a weather report. And in addition to the fact that it's time for coffee at Weigel's, I would wholeheartedly agree. He's got 63 degrees in Maryville, Blount County, and a cool morning. Thank you, Fred, for that update. And our friend Danny says, good morning. Hope you have a wonderful day. Go Vols. Glad to have Danny on here. Melissa Mumpower, also with a quick comment, says, good morning. Walk the kiddos to the bus stop. And it feels wonderful this morning. I think that's the key. It's going to feel wonderful. It's going to feel great. And there might be an element of being spoiled. Do you know what I'm talking about? You get a day like this, and then you get another day like it tomorrow, and then I have to bring bad news. So we're going to be back in the 90s by this weekend. You go, you knew it couldn't last. But summer still is holding on. So we're going to still have opportunities to hang out by the lake and hang out by the neighborhood pool if you so choose. That's going to be on the table later on this weekend. By the way, as the clouds and radar put together, hardly anything. Is there something wrong with that map? No, there's some clouds near Charlotte, but there really aren't too many to find this morning, at least from this image. And you can see maybe in the upper left corner some showers. It would be back towards, say, the Midwest, just northwest of Iowa. They've got some rain over there. But this is the big picture, right? Not much to see across the state of Tennessee. The radar is doing its job, just nothing to detect. We had rain yesterday, picked up 11 hundredths of an inch of rain yesterday around 7 o'clock. That brings us now just under 4 inches for the month. We are doing very well for August. We've already exceeded the month's worth, and it's only, what, the 20th. We still have 11 more days to the month, and we look forward to that last day because it's the Vols home opener. By the way, 83 was our high yesterday. Started the morning off at 66. Normal high and low was 88, 67. Record high 99 today from 1936, a very hot decade in the 30s. And 56 was achieved in 1943. But here's the news. You ready for this? It's not news for today. It's news for tonight. We have a very good chance of breaking a record low tonight. The record low goes back, are you ready for this? Goes back 131 years. Write this down. 131 years. If you're not doing it, maybe the kids got a pencil. 131 years ago. Well, what is it to do? 1893. That's how long ago the record for 57 degrees for Knoxville tonight. I think we got a chance to get to about 55. I was thinking 54, but 55 I think is reasonable. If we hit 56, you still hit a record low tonight. So it's going to be so cool that some of you, if you can deal with the ragweed, will open up the windows and go, ah, yes, a record cool night tonight. That's what you have to look forward to. Some of you are going to be thrilled how chilly it gets tonight. Some of you may not be liking that at all. But again, it's the coolest part of the entire week. Radar shows some rain across South Dakota. And the Dakotas will be the areas to watch for severe weather in the coming days, today, tomorrow, and I believe the next day. But the heat, my goodness, just doesn't stop in Texas. While we stay cool, they stay hot. What was it, like a sandwich? The hot stays hot, the cool stays cool, something like that. Anyway, excessive heat warning in places like Fort Bend and Harris County. That would be Houston till 10 o'clock on the 21st. That's tomorrow night. So when it's hot by Houston standards, you know it must be hot. It's really hot, blazing hot across parts of the Lone Star State, and that's the big map as a whole. I want to check in with your comments. Audrey says, good morning. Windows open in Maryville. Getting that cool air. That's what I'm talking about, Audrey. You know what's funny? Some people will have the issue of wheezing and sneezing, and there are members in the Aldrich household that have a hard time with ragweed. This is a tough time of year. Ragweed is coming on strong. So open your windows with the cautionary tale that if you're an allergy sufferer, probably not the best thing to do. But hey, if you got to do what you got to do to stay cool, and also maybe give your air conditioner a break. Wouldn't that be nice? Now, I did mention we picked up 0.11 of an inch of rain yesterday evening. That brings us to 3.85. If you're playing the home game version, we've already exceeded the 3.63, which is normal. And the only reason we have that strange set of digits is because we've averaged the 1991 to 2020 amounts and divided by 30. So you get 3.63. That's the normal. And we're already well in above that now for August. But don't see much rain this week. In fact, I've had to talk about a little bit of sprinkle activity, a little drizzle, maybe Thursday, Friday. I'll revisit that. But outside of that, it's going to be a dry stretch. So it's just going to be gradually getting hotter once we get past Wednesday, Thursday, and beyond. More on that with the headlines here in a moment. It is 6:48, not a whole lot of wind, and where you see some zeros, the calm winds may be where the fog is most prevalent to this morning, like Jonesville and maybe Middlesboro. Certainly areas around southeast Kentucky might be dealing with more fog. Not a lot of clouds to see here. It's like something's wrong, but it's not wrong. It's just showing you that it is virtually clear. And there will be a few wispy clouds from time to time, but the sun rises up at 6:59. That's about the time I'll be wrapping up this morning. I like to be done at the top of the hour. And then the sun goes down at 8:19 now. So we're going to have a longer night to drop down to about 56, the record low 57 from the year 1893. Do you remember who was president in 1893? No, I had to look it up. It was, I was going to say, it was Grover Cleveland the second time, because there was a Benjamin Harrison between the two Clevelands, if you're a real history buff. We had Grover Cleveland, then we had Benjamin Harrison, and then we had Grover Cleveland a second time. Well, it was his second go-around in 1893. That's a long time to have a number on the books for record lows, and I do think that will tumble today, or really into tomorrow morning. By the way, bus stop forecast. For those of you who are out the door already, you'll notice temperatures are comfortable in the 60s. Recess, if you're in the elementary school world, might be comfortable. I'd say why not? 69 degrees is pretty comfortable. At 10 a.m., teachers and maybe teacher assistants might be thrilled to have a recess at 10 a.m. But by the time we hit pickup, 2 to 3, say 2 to 3:30, We should be in the upper 70s, right around 81 degrees is where I expect to be to finish out the day. So I'll call it a slice of nice. You're going to get not just one slice today, but you'll get another slice tomorrow. We'll get a little bit spoiled. That's okay. 80 in Oak Ridge, 78 for a high in Morristown. I got expected high of Newport of 80 degrees. Just want to check in again with you if you got a comment. I got Danny, I got Audrey, I got Fred, Melissa, anyone who else has an observation. Love to hear from you. As it's now 6:50, my goal is to be done in 10 minutes or less. Now, the humidity tracker has done a great job outlining where all the sticky weather has gone. It's down toward Columbia, South Carolina, down toward Charleston, and it will stay to the south of Atlanta, it looks like right through midday today. So it's really, if you want to find the sticky weather, you would have to go to southeastern sections of Georgia, really to find the icky, sticky weather. It's so dry, dew points are dropping into the 40s in the mountains of West Virginia, it turns brown. I mean, that's really dry. That's a super dry atmosphere, and we'll continue on this low humidity pattern until we get into late the week, especially next weekend, this weekend, and into next week when the humidity will try and make a return visit as it swings back up from Memphis, but it is for the short term going to be absent. I do show a little bit of smoke from the wildfires out west and the north, because Canada may also be the origins of some of these wildfires. But you can see as you zoom in a little bit tighter, there's a little bit of a little yellow area through 5 o'clock today, a little moderate smoke. So if you're real sensitive or maybe real observant, you might observe a little bit of yellow areas, maybe a little bit of smoke in the air by through 5 o'clock this afternoon. But later tonight, this would be very hard to detect. The gray areas are so minute because it's not at the surface necessarily, it's through the whole column of air. Most of the smoke is back to the west heading into the next 12 to 36 hours. Temperatures right now 64 in Knoxville, 68 in Chattanooga. Temperatures right now much cooler in Johnson City. Johnson City's coming in at 59 degrees. It might feel delicious given the fact that it is nice and cool. Speaking of delicious, if you haven't tried the all-new brownie batter milk, it's available for a limited time. My friends at Weigel's have always been creative with their flavor creations. Of course, it's always better when it's with Tennessee cows. It's better when it's fresh, and you know when it's farm to store in 24, you're getting the best product. They've been serving East Tennessee since 1931. Talk about dates, long time ago. And it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Nobody in East Tennessee, I think, would argue with that point. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. The all-new brownie batter milk, it's triple chocolatey, double chocolatey, it's everything. You got to try it, and you might want to pick up a bottle or 2 bottles before it flies off the shelf and then suddenly disappears, because that would be awful for it to disappear and then you get nothing left. By the way, as far as temperatures, it is warmer out west. Memphis is starting the morning at 71. Dew points have come back into the yellow area, which is comfortable, and it's not even going to be a factor, much of a discussion, other than the fact it feels so good. The feels like temperature doesn't even register. We're not even on the scale. So whatever your temperature is, that's the feels like. If it's 64, feels like 64. It's one of those types of situations where it actually is what it is. So there's no real need for that particular product. By the way, Hurricane Ernesto, if you were curious, is still the only active storm in the Atlantic. As the National Hurricane Center projects, it'll go out like so and continue to move away from land, moving into the cooler waters of the Atlantic. But it was an interesting storm to watch because it got pretty strong for a while. Still a hurricane, but it's gone back and forth, and it will slowly fall off from view, and we'll be watching to see if there's another named storm in the coming days or weeks. Francine, Gordon, and Helene are the next 3 names on the list, and this is typically a very active time because usually between now and September 10th, you can usually see a peak in hurricane development, tropical storm development. Any named storms would normally be in this time frame right through early September. By the way, the Hurricane Center has a little patch of orange in the Pacific, but as of right now, outside of Ernesto, there's nothing of concern for them over the next 7 days. Key word is 7. If there's something beyond 7, we'll have to wait and see. Sometimes these things can spin up on short notice. Currently, we have 64 degrees at McGee-Tyson. Northerly wind, northeasterly wind at 7, and the dew point very comfortable now at 61 degrees. My valley planner looks like so. Hey, by lunchtime, I mean, it's like room temperature. By lunchtime, I have us at 73. Is that a pretty good day? I'd say it's a sweet day. That's why I call it a slice of nice. I mean, if it were a humid 73, that'd be one thing. but it is the opposite of humid. It is comfortable, and temperatures should finish off around 81 degrees. Now, I did add a little mention. We'll mention Thursday, Friday, something I'll watch and revisit when I take a look at the data once again. But as of right now, I don't see any rain over the next 7 days. If we get some pockets of drizzle or a spot of rain, it would appear probably Thursday afternoon and maybe Friday afternoon. But even still, that is not assured. We'll look at that, revisit that later today. Headlines as far as 6:55. Slice of nice today and tomorrow. It is warmer by late week. I'm talking about upper 80s by Friday. And then it's just downright hot. Hotter by this weekend. Next week, we could be talking low to mid-90s, and suddenly you think, oh, it's back. Oh, the heat's back. How do I cope with it? Well, that's one of the things we'll have to work through, especially if your air conditioning maybe needs a tune-up. By the way, the Storm Prediction Center highlighting some areas in the Dakotas. That's where all the active weather is. Got a couple of areas in green in Florida for general thunderstorms, but most of the severe storms should be up here in Montana. I said Dakotas. There's a little bit of the Dakotas too. Rapid City, South Dakota, might have isolated, but central Montana might get some scattered severe storms. Also down toward Colorado, maybe the panhandle there of Oklahoma and southwest Kansas. Nothing to see in the whole state of Tennessee. And any state that borders Tennessee looks pretty quiet during the course of today and tomorrow. More activity for North Dakota and Montana on Wednesday. Scattered severe storms, maybe some areas in western Nebraska as well. But really on Wednesday, it looks pretty quiet. I think you'll love the weather for your Wednesday as well. As Thursday reveals, more activity isolated in nature in dark green. Looking at North, South Dakota and Nebraska, parts of North Kansas. Outside of that, maybe a rumble of thunder Thursday into the Chattanooga area. That may also be the day that we get some sprinkles or some drizzle. Again, don't expect much, but we'll watch and revisit Thursday a little bit later today. Meanwhile, you can see from the Futurecast why things look good. Not only here, but the only place you really have to squint. I'm looking at Wilmington, Wrightsville Beach, Charleston, Myrtle Beach. A couple of showers by 5 o'clock today down there, as it will be a little unsettled. But outside of that, it looks delicious. It looks wonderful across Tennessee here at midday tomorrow. By 5 o'clock Wednesday, also looking good as this big area of high pressure over the Great Lakes tries to nose downward. There's the Thursday drizzle that might try to make it in here, but even still, it looks like it's centered back toward Huntsville, maybe south of Nashville. Outside of that, it looks pretty quiet. I think we're going to be generally on the dry side of the ledger, and we'll be waiting for some rain maybe sometime next week. It does not look that impressive, even what does or might form later this week. So for today, it's now 6:57. I've got the hearts in the eyes. I mean, you really love this day. Yeah, I'm even wearing a yellow shirt to kind of project how the kind of weather we're going to have today, right? So this was a beautiful day. Sunny day. If you spend the whole day inside, maybe because you have to, maybe because you need to, you might regret it. So if you can extend your maybe coffee break, or if you can extend your lunch break, then that would be probably nice. You'll probably thank me in the long run because the winds are going to only be about 5 to 10, and they'll be out of that cool weather direction from the north-northeast, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. We already looked at today's forecast, but let's look at it again. 79 for Wartburg. Our friends in Crossville, I expect a high for you of 77. And if you're in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, wouldn't be surprised if you're around 78 degrees. I got a note from Janet Potts. Janet's on here. She says, good morning from Talbot. She's got 59 degrees. Let's shout out Talbot. Love it. 59 degrees out there. And she says it feels good. She's got a happy face. I love it. Thank you, Janet. And Darcy's on here. Darcy Soar, one of my premium members. She says, I'm loving this cooler weather. What a tease, Mother Nature. Have a blessed day. Yeah, I definitely think it's a tease. I think it's a tease and it's a head fake. But hey, even though you know that this is like a balloon that's going to pop later this week because it gets hotter, you got to enjoy it, right? You know you're going to be sucker punched into thinking this is the way it is all the time. No. This is just a flash in the pan of summer. And you'll say, this was really nice. I really wish I had taken more advantage of it. The dog might want a good walk this evening. 83 in Nashville. Expecting if you're traveling today. 87 for Atlanta. 75 for our friends in Lexington, Kentucky. And Charlotte may see a high today about 83 degrees. For tonight, very clear in the sense that the weather's clear. But I want to be very clear that we have record low territory. oh, that says 57. You have it at 55. You have it beating by 2 degrees. I know. Last night I had it at 54. So I'm pretty confident. What really shocked me was how old this record's been. This record's 131 years, y'all. A 131-year record going, bye-bye. He's like, do. It's going to fall off, is what I'm trying to say. Mostly clear. Even if we hit 57 and we just tie it, that's a pretty big deal. Anyway, mostly clear, cool, low humidity, wind's going to be about 3 to 8 miles per hour. How cool do you think you could get? I think a lot of you are going to be a lot cooler than Knoxville. I mean, look at Crossville, 50. Look at Wartburg, Oneida, 50. And our friends in Middlesboro, 48 degrees. Way to represent the autumnal feel to the atmosphere. If you can be in the upper 40s in southeast Kentucky tomorrow morning, well, so be it. You are the envy of all the fall weather fans because you're probably ready for football when you're in the 40s. It's cool, it's crisp, but there's a big difference between Tellico Plains 57 and Middlesboro at 48. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. It's now 7:01. I got to get to the Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee. Yes, autumnal feel is a beautiful way to describe it. 82 for a high on Wednesday. Humidity stays low, and then we warm things up. Oh, you knew we would. If we throw in a little bit of drizzle Thursday afternoon and Friday, so be it. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday look dry and hotter. And boy, we're back in the low to mid-90s by Sunday and Monday of next week. So, yeah, the humidity will come back. As I mentioned, there will be opportunities to, in fact, actually get up by the pool and by the lake. So you still have opportunities to get the boat, jet ski, to get good use. Don't think that the cool weather is here to stay. By the way, if you haven't picked up a bottle of the all-new Brownie Batter Milk, please pick up a bottle. They would love it. Weigel's is just better when it's fresh. Farm to store in 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. And as again, it's not only chocolatey or double chocolatey, it is triple chocolatey, delicious. If you love brownies, you're going to love the Brownie Batter Milk presented by Weigel's, and it's available for just a limited time. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate. I really hope you enjoyed today. We'll see you here next time. Take care.